don't really need another plate of that. But then you do it anyway. We cut out all the foods we love. We start working out 7 days a week, and we start doing cardio every day. Being the holiday season, everyone is getting busy with year-end family gatherings. Maybe you have work travel going on, or maybe you're lounging at home and just chilling like the rest of us who work from home all the time. But let me be honest, I'm not chilling. Most of the time, this is the time of year everyone is the most stressed, the least adherent to their diet and workout programs, and getting the worst recovery and sleep possible. Why? Why is this happening? If we think about it, this is the time of year everyone is under extreme pressure. It might be financial pressure before the end of the year. Maybe you're really apprehensive about seeing family and friends that maybe you don't see once a year. Always tense. We're getting this anxiety about things that are coming up, things out of our control. Maybe you really just don't want to do a gift exchange. To be honest, Dave and I aren't doing a gift exchange, but we talked about it. And as far as health goes, people are enjoying more sweet. You have more people at work bringing in food. You're going out for lunch, going out for happy hour, because we want to celebrate. We want to celebrate the end of the year. The reason for this season is to gather together and celebrate each other's company. So a lot of times it's around food and alcohol. When we are thinking about how to have a healthier holiday, we need to start off with giving ourselves some grace, some space to first recognize what are our current patterns that we always get into during this time of season. Some of us might just have anxiety because of Christmas coming up. No matter if it's a big event for your family or not, it might have some trauma in your past where you might have had a fight with a relative. Maybe you no longer have some of your closest family and friends around. They may have passed away or moved, and you don't get to have that same joyful holiday experience. Maybe you've never had a great holiday experience. Taking an assessment of how you've always thought and approached the holidays can be that number one step to recognizing what you need to do now. Rule number 2 is to, after you've recognized what those patterns are, determine what you can actually change now. A lot of times we are starting our holidays right after Thanksgiving, going all the way through New Year's. Where is that buffer time where you can actually change what's going to happen, how you're going to think about things, how you're going to respond to things? Right? Sometimes we know deep in our hearts that Aunt Sally is always going to make a comment about politics at Christmas Eve dinner. That just is what it is. Now, if that's the case and you can't change the way that she is, the way that she acts, and you know this, now you are empowered to decide, okay, if she's going to bring this up and it always rubs me the wrong way, what can I choose to do that will help me overcome this? Maybe you have a conversation with her and ask that she talk about it with somebody else. Or maybe you go into another room. Honestly, about setting boundaries and knowing, so this is a trigger for me. Now what do I do? So overcoming those challenges. Family is the hardest. I honestly experienced this in myself, as well as other friends and clients of mine will say, Caroline, it's so hard for me to approach my family because I love them and I care for them and I don't want them to take it the wrong way. Here's the thing. It is not your problem the way someone's going to respond to things. Yes, you can say things in a more empathetic understanding from their perspective and being mindful of that for sure. But at the end of the day, we're all individual humans. So you can't predetermine, oh my God, they're going to overreact when I say it like that. Or, oh my God, they're never going to talk to me again. You're the only one that can protect you. You're the only one in charge of your happiness. So that's where setting those boundaries can be a huge help to you. Now, maybe one of these tendencies and patterns for you is whenever someone brings out the appetizers or the cookie tray, you just keep going back and walking back because you're like, they're there, I'm going to enjoy them. Deep inside, you're telling yourself, man, I probably shouldn't have another one. Man, I don't really need another plate of that. But then you do it anyway. This is where we get into this perpetual binge eating disorder and then repercussions of negative self-talk, punishing ourselves in the gym. Maybe we starve ourselves going into the new year. Our resolution is to lose pounds. So what do? We cut out all the foods we love. We start working out 7 days a week and we start doing cardio every day. When you haven't been doing that for months, what you are leading yourself up to is setting you up to fail. And we don't want to do that, especially around this time of year that's supposed to be joyful, fun, celebratory. So understanding those patterns can literally lead us up to a really positive, healthy start to the new year. Your eating habits are one thing, but your activity and how you treat and feel in your body is another. You subconsciously know something's off. We feel these aches and pains. We get headaches. We have acne. We get bloated and have stomach pains. We burp, heartburn after every single meal. You're like, it's just normal. That's what the doctor tells me. It's normal. And then you're like going to the gym and you feel like you're making progress, but you don't see any progress. And then you, during the holidays, are like, I'm just not going to work out. We're creating our own storm here with the imbalanced boundaries of people, which is emotional stress. The foods that we don't normally eat or we're eating in a surplus, which is an additional stress on our digestive system and our body. And then we have the stress of the training, attempting to work out. And yes, working out is a stress, especially you ladies who love to train like myself. It can be an over-stressor for you. So we need to pair all three of these together as we're looking at the holidays, how we approach them from a healthy lifestyle perspective, giving ourselves that wiggle room to say, you know what, instead of going to the gym 7 days a week, I'm going to commit to getting 10,000 steps in a day. I will tell you, from someone who's been in an office job to now working at home, yes, it can be difficult if you don't make it a priority. However, if you build it in the habit, it can become super simple to just take a 10-minute walk after every single meal. Even if you're eating only 3 meals a day, I actually used to get up after an hour of working and take a 10-minute walk around my office building. Got me fresh air and sunlight, which helps with our vitamin D production and melatonin production. It gets your brain cleared. And there is science showing that if you walk away from your desk and you don't look at a computer screen for a minimum of 5 to 10 minutes, it can help you refocus faster on whatever project you're working on. And then you're moving your body, and cardiovascular health is one of those underlying pieces to longevity. Heart disease is the #1 killer, especially for men. So one way that we can combat that is not just through a healthier lifestyle with the foods that we choose, but the way that we move our body and train our body. Weight training is also great for cardiovascular health. It builds bone strength, more muscle density. You do need to make sure that you're eating a balanced diet. A higher protein diet, you're going to build more muscle faster. So adding in a little bit more protein, it will also keep you fuller. So we're not only benefiting the muscle protein synthesis, we are improving our satiety and those hunger cues so that you're not always wanting to eat, especially those sweets. Those are the 3 fundamental pieces. Let's go into a day in the holidays. Maybe you are going to your aunt's house for the Christmas dinner and you're exchanging gifts and you know the time frames. What do you do? Well, you can schedule in your workout, you can bring meals with you, or you can plan ahead of time what you want to eat, what you're choosing to eat, you can plan and not feel guilty about it. If someone asks you, oh, Carolyn, you always grab a piece of that pumpkin pie. Are you sure you're not gonna have one this time? You can tell them, yeah, I feel good with the foods I'm eating today and I just don't want it. Thank you though. And making sure that they know it's not because you don't love them, it's not because you don't love their pumpkin pie, it's because you're choosing something different right now. And that's okay. When it comes to the stress element, a lot of people don't recognize that they need time away. I'm actually a very introverted person. So when I am in a room of a lot of people or I'm attending a lot of events or Dave and I are traveling a lot and we're having a lot of interactions and face-to-face, I actually hit a point where I'm like peopled out and I need my own space, be in my hotel room, go for a walk somewhere, put some music on, or grab my journal and just journal my thoughts. There is so much benefit to doing this, especially when you're in a home full of all these family and friends that are getting over the top and excited and drinking alcohol, all the things. So you can even just go into your bathroom and sit on the toilet for like 5 minutes, do some breathing exercises. I really love doing box breathing. So you're taking a 4-second breath in through your nose and pushing all that air out in an 8-second breath out. And you're gonna repeat that as many times as you need, but I usually am aiming for about 10 to 20 rounds of this breathing. I also like some guided meditations. I have a playlist on Spotify that is all meditation music that I love to listen to, and that really helps me feel grounded and relaxed so that I can go back in and join the family feeling less overwhelmed. Now, what do you do the day after the event? So you enjoyed some foods, you enjoyed some company. You really need to be in tune with your body here. If you consume alcohol, your liver might need a little assistance. NAC and TUDCA are 2 great products to help with liver detoxification. Glutathione, if it's injectable, is another great option. You also want to consider the B vitamins. Calcium D-glucarate and DIM can help with liver and estrogen detoxification. We know that alcohol can increase estrogen development. For some of us, that can make us really moody. It can cause water retention in our waistline, which nobody wants. Some other tips there. Now, when it comes to training, you don't have to go ham in the gym after you enjoy a holiday meal. I've done it. I've also done the opposite where I don't even go to the gym the next day. You really need to be in tune with how your body feels. If you're hungover, don't go for a 2-mile run. Don't go weight train for an hour and a half. Maybe you need to sit in the sauna or take an Epsom salt bath. Do some stretching. You can go for a light walk. Go for a couple walks. Then the next day, once you're feeling a little bit better, you can go work out. So those are just some tips and pointers from my personal experience. As we're going into the new year, where do resolutions come into play? The past couple of years, I have shifted away from New Year's resolutions purely for the fact that I felt like I was setting myself up for failure if I didn't accomplish them exactly how I wrote them out. Now, this is coming from a type A personality, and I'm always a high achieving, success driven person. So if I wrote down, okay, my goal is to make X dollars in 3 months of business, and I didn't quite hit that, then I would be feeling like a failure. And sometimes that makes me want to quit. I know a lot of women like that. So instead of thinking about, okay, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds, my recommendation is let's focus on intentions. So just like we talked about setting boundaries, recognizing patterns, those are where we're gonna start with our New Year's resolutions. And now we're gonna take it one step further and figure out, okay, what are my intentions around finance? I wanna get better at understanding finances. So what does that look like? Maybe I'm gonna enroll in a financial advising course, or I'm gonna watch YouTube videos once a week on finances. Maybe you want to feel more energetic. This is a big one I get with a lot of my clients is they wanna feel more energetic. Not even necessarily about the weight. You want to feel more energetic, lighter in your body. How do you do that? Number one, we figure out the emotional baggage. Number two, eating whole foods and drinking enough water. So that's where we start. So we don't want to do all of this at once because a lot of times if we throw too much at someone, they can't handle it all. Just like you go into a new job, it's like drinking from a fire hose for the first month. And then you finally are like grasping at one thing and then another thing and then another thing. The same way with figuring out weight loss, figuring out your health. So we need to pinpoint, okay, if my intention is I want to have more energy in 2023. Yes, you might lose weight. Yes, you might build more muscle. So your intention is to move your body in a way that challenges you but also feels good. Some weeks that might be weight training. Other weeks it could be weight training and cardio. Maybe you also add in a Pilates class or a dance class or a pole dancing class or doing something totally off the wall you've never done before. Your intentions aren't going to set you up to failure, but they should empower you. I want to empower you to feel like you're going to be successful in the new year, to feel like you can accomplish what you want to and also be happy. That's something a lot of people undervalue is happiness and recognizing they're eating every single day of their life to find out that they're actually not happy or fulfilled. So this is something we want to abolish that mindset. We want to focus on how we are going to be our happiest, healthiest selves and make that not a resolution, but our intentions that are going to become our lifestyle. And remember, these are things that you don't need to only do during this time of season. You can do them at any time of year. What's your intention going to be for a healthier, happier holiday? What's your intention going to be for a more abundant, healthier you into the new year?